Here we are back in the JY Rods and Custom Shop. We're going to take out this cheap stereo that I got on eBay, which ended up not working very good. Looks really good, won't lie. Had a bunch of issues where it would lose memory, like lose power and then not remember the time, cut out a lot with Bluetooth. It's an Android 10 operating system, so I'm sure that's some of the reason why it hasn't been updated since 2020. Sometimes you get what you pay for, right? So I'm gonna take this out and I'll show you what we're gonna replace it with. I got a JVC from Crutchfield and we'll take it from here. So here we go. This is the JVC stereo and installation kit that I got from Crutchfield. The current stereo that I have in there right now I got off of eBay and it was like 130 bucks. Lots of issues with it. Having said that, had really stellar customer service from the person I got it from. So I have no complaints. Eventually, I just asked for a refund and they agreed. They said, yep, send it back. We'll give you a refund. Sent me a shipping label and everything. So really good customer service, especially since I wasn't happy. A lot of people wouldn't be like that. So I appreciated that. So now spent a couple $100 more on this one. It's a JVC touchscreen, of course. We're gonna install this baby. Here we are in the truck. Here is the old one. Looks pretty nice, but too bad it doesn't work. So again, to take this out, you gotta take this screw out there, and then you simply just pop this whole part out. Got the screw out, and here's how easy this thing pops out. Get around my shifter here, and that's that. Now we just unplug all this stuff and take it out. Here we are with the dash that I just uninstalled. We undid screws to hold the air conditioner controller and this little storage unit. As you can see, you can pop those right off. Now we are ready to drill out these areas here. With that, we'll just use a drill bit, and I have a flathead drill bit that is made for this, so I'm gonna go get that and do it now. Here is the drill bit that I have. You can see that it's flathead. Center this as best we can and drill this out. And so on. Okay, got all those drilled out, and then she just pops right off like so. Now we can reinstall the next one. Now here are the directions that came with the kit from Crutchfield, which the previous stereo that I just showed you did not come with anything. So when you page through these, it tells you what pieces are with it, obviously, and then gives you step-by-step instructions here. Take the dash apart like we did, take the AC controller and pocket out like it shows there with all the screws where the arrows point, and then take these little guys right here and you will screw on those to hold on to this where the holes are. Here we are with the face or the molding on there, and as you can see there are 5 bigger ones and then 2 smaller ones. The 2 smaller ones go up top here, there, and then the 5 bigger ones go down here. And the instructions do state that also, so they're very good. So we'll screw those on now. In addition to that, there are 2 shorter screws here that go on the smaller ones, and then there are the 5 longer screws that go on the taller ones. Again, the taller ones go on the bottom and the shorter ones go on the top. The way these work is they just fit on like that. You can see that they're drilled out so they fit over the top of these real well, and then you just screw them on. You can see these bigger ones here are made just to slip right on like that. And then we just screw them on. There we are with all the fasteners in, and everything's very solid here and looks great so far. On my previous install with no directions from the cheap set, I thought we had to take a plastic welder and weld these down or melt these down, which is what I drilled out a couple minutes ago. Had I known that that's how these were to be installed, if they would have supplied directions, this would have been a lot easier and you wouldn't need a plastic welder. The cheap set did come with these. I was curious as to what they were for. Now I know. And another negative to that set, they didn't supply screws to install these. So a person would have had to supply those themselves. Next, reinstalling the pocket and the AC controllers here. And to do that, obviously you just put these screws back in the holes and that will all be set. After that, I'm going to just plug this in, make sure she has power, and install these to the sides according to the directions here, like this, with the supply screws over here. Make sure everything fits well in there and make sure the screws are lined up with the proper holes here. The next thing we're gonna do is mount the GPS and the speaker. That lighter spot there, that's from my previous GPS. And you can see that I already have this one in, but we're going to mount the speaker right underneath there also. And in order to pop this off, all you gotta do is grab a tool, pop it like this, and then this just lifts up like so. And then in there, underneath here are clips that you just pull like so, and they pop right out. And if one is stubborn, like this corner one here, you might need a little prick tool like this to give it a little help. And you just pry on it, pull, get on the back side and pull forward, and you'll pop it right out. So once that is off, all you need to do is fish your wire back along the window and underneath like so. And you stick it under here, and then you'll run it back through here just like this one is, and out through here. Now we got those mounted. There's your speaker and the GPS. That's how I chose to mount them, but nonetheless, you can mount them however the heck you want. Then next, we had to cut out this section right here. This section was right here. If I can get it back in there, it looked kind of like that. And took one of these tools, zipped it right out of there. Probably took like 2 minutes. So I cut along here, along the bottom here, and then right here, as you can see that gap, and then up and around back the same. And then that pops right out. And you have to cut that out since it's a double DIN or DIN or DIN, or however you say that, radio. It's thicker this way. Factory one is this thick. JVC is about this thick, so that's why we got to cut that out. All right, now that we got that section cut out, I've been messing around with these, trying to line it up. And this is how you want it. You'll want it in those holes and push the mounting bracket as far back as you can. And I'll take this apart and show you the holes. This one and this one work for me. I hope it works for you too. And then again, push that mounting bracket towards the front of the vehicle as far as it can go and tighten it down, and it should work just fine. And as you can see, it does say left and right on each respective bracket. The left being the driver's side, if you didn't know, and the right being the passenger side. So I'm gonna mount this baby and get her in. Okay, now we have everything plugged in, and then power, speaker wires, all that. So that is good to go. And here's how she goes up in here. Here's how she sits in there. Finish screwing these 4 screws in, and now we will pop this back up in and see how she looks. And here's how she looks. No huge noticeable gaps. One thing I forgot to mention, I ran the USB cable down back through here, and then there's a little gap through your ashtray that you can run it through. For now, it's nice and hidden back here. But this is how she looks. Looks pretty good. Happy with it so far. I'm gonna play around with it and get her all set up with Bluetooth and see how she sounds, and get back to you then. Hey y'all, here we are back in the 05 diesel, giving you the final review for the JVC Crutchfield purchase. Completely happy with it. I am much more happy with this more expensive version of the radio upgrade than I was with the cheaper. Here's how the JVC works. Works really good, like I stated just a couple seconds ago. Hooks up fairly quick too. I would say within 15-20 seconds. I guess we're gonna find out here as soon as you hear a beep, I think, but my camera might screw it up too. I'm not sure since I'm recording right now. There it is. And that's how she hooks up. All looks great. Apple CarPlay looks great. I hope you can see the screen here. There you go. And all is good with how she fires up and connects. So if I was you guys, I would most likely spend the cash if you can. It was a difference of right around $200. So if you can't afford that, I would suggest it just for ease of install, or the cheaper one would work just fine. Just might run into a couple more issues and might have to take a little more time with it, which is perfectly fine too. Also, if you have any questions, please reach out to us on our socials and we can see if we can help you out at all, answer any questions that you guys might have. So with that, we're going to rock on with this JVC and take it from here. Thanks for watching, you guys. You have a good one. Bye.